This is the 411 with your host, Matt Micah.
And what's up, Sport Junkie members? Matt Micah here on the 411. Lots to talk about, lots to cover. NFC Championship game, AFC Championship game wrap-ups. Who's winning the Super Bowl, the Patriots or the Seattle Seahawks? New head coaching hires, Gary Kubiak to the Denver Broncos. Also, Scherzer to the Washington Nationals. How's that going to affect the Detroit Tigers? A ton of cover. I'm going to stop talking. Here we go. Hey, Sport Junkie fans, let's talk about the NFC and AFC Championship games first. Let's first kick it off with that NFC Championship game since it was the earlier game. The Seattle Seahawks prevail, they escape with a victory and head to the Super Bowl to defend their title. But what a debacle the Green Bay Packers performed. I mean, you're talking about one of the biggest embarrassments in playoff history, in NFL history. They should have won that game. The Seattle Seahawks knew they should have won that game. The Green Bay Packers drew the blueprint of how to beat the Seahawks in Seattle, nonetheless. They put a ton of pressure on Russell Wilson. They made him uncomfortable in the pocket. They said, hey, the entire world is not giving us a chance. We're just going to let it fly, let it all hang out, be nothing. We're not going to back down from a fight, and we're just going to play our game and see what happens. And sure enough, they dominated that game for 3.5 quarters, but they could not capitalize when it mattered most. 4 chances inside the 20-yard line and only escaping with 3 field goals. That's a tremendous effort by that Seattle defense. They won that game. Russell Wilson played probably his worst game in his career since Pee Wee football, college football, NFL football. No matter what you're talking about, what level of football he's been playing, that was probably his worst performance in the biggest stage. You're throwing 4 interceptions. The offense turns the ball over 5 times and you still win the ball game. Tremendous poise and confidence. And battling back, the Seattle Seahawks performed. The turn of the tide happened when the Seattle Seahawks scored their first touchdown on the fake field goal. The kicker, he escapes the pocket, throws a touchdown pass. That woke up a sleeping giant and ignited that victory. I was watching that game, and as soon as that play happened, I told myself Seattle's going to win. No doubt about it. That woke up a sleeping giant because the entire crowd, which is a part of the reason for how successful they are, that plays in the equation of why they're successful. That crowd, that 12th man in Seattle, it's loud, it's obnoxious, they get after you, and it's just demoralizing if you're an away team and you have the crowd just getting in your ear and it just gets louder and louder and louder, and the crowd noise, disrupting calls, disrupting patterns. That crowd is the reason why Seattle is so good at it. I mean, that team, that defense, awesome. I mean, the top to bottom, great team, but that crowd plays a major factor, especially at home. I mean, that's why you have the number 1 overall seed. That's why you want the number 1 overall seed if you're the Seattle Seahawks, because playing in the 12th man, it's hard to beat them. But the Green Bay Packers didn't back down from a fight, and they almost won the game. Like I said before earlier, they drew the blueprint of how to beat Seattle in Seattle, and they still didn't escape with the victory. Seattle did, and I was completely I was confused. I was puzzled. I didn't know what was going on, because you're talking about Aaron Rodgers inside the 20 4 times and only having 3 field goals. That hurts. That definitely hurts. You're up at the half 16-0 where it should have been 28-0. 28-0, that's very tough to come back. 16, that's 2 touchdowns. That's easy for the Seattle Seahawks. That's nothing. And that woke up a sleeping giant, that fake field goal for a touchdown, no doubt about it. You can talk about many plays in this game. You talk about the onside kick. His job was not to catch the ball. His job was to block and let Jordy Nelson recover the onside kick. But he goes up, doesn't do his job. Nonetheless, he tries to catch it. He's a tight end in the NFL, and he tries to catch it, and the ball just goes right between his hands, hits him in the face mask. How do you let that happen? There's 2 faults there. You don't catch the ball, and that wasn't even your primary objective on the onside kick. You're supposed to block so Jordy Nelson can catch the ball. Ton of miscues. And think about this. Aaron Rodgers, he's playing hurt. That last drive, they settle for a field goal to tie the game to send it into overtime. Easily. If he's healthy, Green Bay puts a lot of points on the boards. He can escape the pocket, make plays with his legs, and doesn't have to rely on his arm, especially that last drive. They settle for a field goal, push to overtime. There was 3 plays where he could burst it out and use his legs for big gains. Probably could have scored a touchdown there. sealed the game, sealed the victory, Green Bay at the Super Bowl. But he's hurt. He's playing on 2 bad legs. Has to rely on his arm. He tries to escape the pocket. When he tries to do that, he tries to flip it to Lacy. Lacy's trying to block for him, thinking he's going to run it, but he can't run. So Lacy doesn't know. Lacy gets the ball knocked on his back of his helmet. There goes a down. Another time, you're thinking about Aaron Rodgers gaining more yards. But he has to take the out of bounds, get the first down, stop the clock, and that's it. You're talking about an extra 20 yards if he's able to use his legs. Excellent field position to make a strike towards the end zone. But at the end of the day, great game by Seattle. Coming back, that poise, Pete Carroll, great coach, great team, Russell Wilson. He was very emotional after the game. A great victory by the Seattle Seahawks, but it's scary too. I'll be talking about Super Bowl predictions later on in this show. I was picking Seattle to win the Super Bowl, but after that performance, coming back, yes, a lot of poise, a lot of tremendous character on that team, but the tremendous performance that New England Patriots showed against Andrew Luck and the Indianapolis Colts maybe might slide my pick to the New England side. We'll see what happens. Later on, we'll be talking about the AFC Championship game. Stay tuned.